Hello, and welcome to day 2 out of 12 days of this yoga journey. Today is called Deep because that is what we are going to be doing. Specifically, it's going to be focused on the hips, but you'll definitely feel it throughout your whole body. I also wanted to make a focus today when it comes to going deep, picking out one thing to focus on for the remainder of the practice. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into that when we get started. The only things I recommend having is, again, a safe, comfortable space to practice, a mat beneath you or some type of cushion. A folded blanket will possibly really come in handy today, as well as some yoga blocks. And as always, maybe a cushion or a pillow, or you can even use that folded blanket to go underneath your sit bones to give yourself a little bit more space. As all of this journey will be, this practice is pregnancy safe. So for all you pregnant mamas, thank you for being here. But this is also all level yogis safe. So thank you for being here, no matter where you are in your journey or phase of life. I believe you could benefit from this practice. So grab everything you need, maybe a glass of water next to you as well. Get comfy and let's get started. Beautiful. So if you haven't already, begin to come to a seated position. Could be cross-legged, just a comfortable position. And today we're going to be starting off with a gentle meditation. Just a little mini meditation to get started, to drop in deep to this present moment and to this practice. So once you've gotten yourself settled down, you can begin to close down your eyes if you feel safe to do so. If not, bringing a gentle gaze down in front of you. Rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. Aligning the spine and dropping in to this present moment. Thinking about what dropping in deeply to this practice means to you. How much benefit can come to you by immersing yourself fully, deeply, wholly into this moment, right here, right now, with yourself, with your breath, with the ground beneath you. Beginning to become aware of your breath if you haven't already. Not forcing it to move in any one which way, just allowing it to naturally flow in and out from your nose or from your mouth. Slow, steady breaths, focusing on the pace in which it naturally flows in and out. And taking a moment to circle back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the practice. What is one thing in this moment, in this practice, that you would like to deeply and fully focus on? Could be anything you feel you are in need of. Focusing on peace, maybe focusing on presence, grace, maybe even just focusing on getting in a good stretch, getting in some movement. whatever it may be, decide on one thing and take the next several minutes to hold on to it, breathe into it, and focus. Allowing yourself to come back to your breath if you've wandered off. Allowing your breath to be the constant. In and out it flows as it brings you back each and every time to the here and to the now. Beautiful. With grace, allow that focus to drift away. Still holding on to it in the back of your mind, but just allowing yourself to release it for now. As you begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe move your head back and forth as you slowly begin to open your eyes fully, taking in the space around you, maybe welcoming a smile to your face. Beautiful, taking in how you feel in this moment. Hopefully it is good. And now you'll begin to welcome in some movements. You can begin by taking your left palm and placing it over your right knee and just taking a gentle spinal seated twist. You can use your right hand and fingertips to go behind you, especially if you're pregnant. Definitely be mindful of how this area is feeling. You don't want to go too deep into your twist. But if you are wanting more of a twist, you can always go as deep as you'd like, being mindful of that spine to prevent any injury. Just taking a few breaths, sending your gaze behind your right shoulder. Steadying your breath, moving deeply into this moment. Beautiful. Coming back through center, taking your right palm now on your left knee, dropping those left fingertips back behind you and going into that gentle spinal twist. I'm taking a look and admiring some of the cute ornaments I have on my tree right now. But you can always close your eyes down to drop deeper into this moment, into that focus that we set together at the beginning of the practice. Just 2 more breaths here, in through the nose Out through the mouth. Beautiful. Returning back through center. Taking our knees out just slightly in front of us, keeping them bent, and moving through some windshield wipers, dropping them to the right and then dropping them to the left. Just taking a few more like that, kind of waking up the body a little bit. We will be diving deep into our hips today, as I mentioned. So this is a great way to just wake them up, get them a little bit open and prepared. Beautiful. Once you've evened that out on each side, meet back into the center. And what we're going to do here is, before we shift over to the other side, if you have a block, you can grab one. You can keep the pillow placed under your bum. Anytime we're sitting down, that's always a great way to elevate your hips. And together we're going to shift to the left side. So we're going to have our hips facing our left leg as it extends out. We're going to bring our right foot to touch the inner thigh. You can give yourself as much or as little room as you'd like. Placing the block on any level you'd like, lowest, mid, or highest, depending on how far you'd like to go down. And we're just going to do a half straddle. Begin by inhaling, lengthening through your spine, and exhaling, folding the chest and the hips forward. You can use this block as a little rest for your arms. Again, going down as deeply as you'd like. Dropping the head down and allowing yourself to fully feel this stretch all the way through the back of the leg, extending through that left foot to feel the stretch even more deeply throughout the leg. Tapping back into your breath. We won't be here long, just a few steady breaths. One more big inhale through the nose. And exhale, begin to rise, pressing into that block, shifting the block over now to your other side. As we shift positions over to the right now, extending through that right leg, shifting our hips to be square and in line with that right leg. Placing the block wherever you'd like. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, begin to gently fold forward. Resting your arms on the block or on the ground, depending on whether or not you're using it. Dropping deeply here, allowing yourself to be. Three more full breaths in and out here at your pace. One more. And on your exhale, slowly pressing through your palms as you rise, coming back through center. This time we're going to be taking a full straddle, extending through both legs. So now this doesn't need to be a full split. Know your limits. Just bringing your legs out so that you feel a good stretch in those inner thighs and those hips, and you're opening them up. This can be a great place to, again, use that block, placing it right in front of you at any level. You can also, for cushion on top of the block, you can always use this blanket, just so it's a little bit softer as an option. Placing that block wherever feels good. as we begin to inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, folding from the hips, allowing the chest to melt down. You can come onto your forearms. You can stay using the block and just pressing your palms into the block. Know your limits and find what feels good. Again, just dropping your head down, allowing yourself to drop in this moment, keeping both of your feet engaged and active, feeling that stretch down the backs of both legs now, the hips, the inner thighs, maybe even the glutes a little bit. Everything is connected. Drop deep. Slow and steady with your breaths, adjusting yourself if you need to, and then just dropping right back into the stretch. Releasing tension, showing yourself grace. Beautiful. One more big inhale in here. And on your exhale, pressing your way back up through center. You can put that block off to the side, getting it out of the way. Close your legs in, bring them to that bent position in front of you. And we're just going to drop into a couple more windshield wipers. Taking this counter stretch can be really helpful after we've opened the hips the opposite way. Allows them to kind of pop back into those hip sockets. Beautiful. All right. If you have a pillow underneath you, you can remove that and place it off to the side. We will use that again a little bit later, maybe adjusting yourself as we come down onto our hands, into our knees. So creating a level tabletop position with your back, shoulders over wrist, and hips over knees. Begin to inhale as you drop the belly down for cow, taking it as slowly or as deeply as you'd like. If you are pregnant and practicing with me today, you may notice a little bit of tightness and stiffness in the ribs. I personally do throughout my pregnancy, so I've been taking this a lot more gentle. And on your exhale, arching through the back for cat, dropping the head down, sending your gaze to your knees. Just a couple more just like that, taking it at your pace. One more, evening it out. Beautiful. Widening your knees now to the width of your mat, bringing the big toes to touch, sinking the sit bones down to the heels, stretching your arms forward and dropping your chest to meet your mat for child's pose. Staying with your breath here, coming back to that focus that you set at the beginning of practice. And deeply and fully dropping into it. Beautiful. Begin to rise just slightly and begin to walk the hands over to the right side. As we then drop down, feeling a deeper stretch through that left side body. Opening up the hips, really the full body here. Just for a couple breaths. Beautiful, rising up, walking back through center and over to the left now. Reaching to the left off of the mat as we drop down. Feeling the stretch now through the right side body. Opening up through the ribs, the chest, the hips, the mind. Just 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. On your last exhale, slowly walking those hands back through center. Rising up back to tabletop. Pressing down firmly through the hands. Allowing your spine to reset, maybe closing down the eyes. Shifting back and forth. Dropping in deeply to this moment. Beautiful. So you begin to walk your hands back, coming into a kneeling position, high on your knees. As you slowly begin to take your right foot forward, dipping your hips forward, dropping them forward, and coming into a nice low lunge. Only dropping as far as what feels good. You want to feel that deep stretch in through the hips, the front of the thigh, the inner thigh. You can keep your hands here, or you can inhale, rising them up for a little added challenge. Only doing what feels good, what feels right, what feels deep in this moment. What can allow you to drop deeper. Beautiful. Dropping the hands down to frame the right foot as you slowly roll back onto that heel, coming into a half split. Squaring off your hips. And just staying right here. You can stay right here. You can go a little bit deeper. Allowing your belly to have plenty of space. Your heart to stay open. Feeling that yummy stretch all the way back through the leg. Beautiful. Rolling back onto that foot, releasing the hands from the ground, and slowly bringing that right knee back to meet the left. And stepping that left foot forward now, dropping into that low lunge on the left side. Again, keeping the hands on the knee, maybe inhaling them and rising them overhead. Doing whatever it takes to drop deeper. Noticing how this side may feel different from the other side. Maybe you can go deeper, maybe you need to come off a little bit. Staying here for a few more breaths. Opening up, releasing tension. Beautiful. On your next exhale, beginning to drop down the hands to frame that left foot. Roll back onto that left heel. Again, opening up, giving that belly plenty of space. As you drop slightly forward, extending through that left leg for half split. On your inhale, maybe rising slightly, and on your exhale, dropping deeper. Beautiful. One more breath here. And exhale, coming out of the pose, rolling flat onto the foot, bringing that left knee and foot to meet the right. Coming back onto your hands and knees, tabletop position, just to transition yourself over now to the center of your mat. Here is where I welcome you and advise you, especially if you have sensitive knees, to grab that folded blanket or provide yourself with some extra cushion to go underneath your knees. Can extend that out to about full length because we are going to go down into a pretty deep stretch. That is really good to work on opening your hips, especially if you're trying to work towards splits. Begin in kneeling position, placing both hands down in front of you and slowly beginning to move your knees little by little, as well as your feet, into this froggy style stretch. Keeping your legs at a right angle position, so creating this kind of like goal post shape with your legs. As you sink down, here you can also grab a block and use that as support, kind of like we did for our full straddle. Only going as far as you can. If this is too intense for you, you can back off at any point, and you could go on your back and do a happy baby posture, whatever feels best for you. But I encourage you definitely to give it a shot if it is within your practice. Once you've found your posture, begin to just close down your eyes, drop your head. And connect with your breath. We won't be here long. Feeling your inner thighs open up. Noticing what feelings come up. And bringing your mind back to that focus, that one thing that you decided to prioritize throughout this practice. Beautiful. One more big breath in. And on your exhale, gently pressing off of your elbows and forearms and slowly bringing the knees and the feet in little by little. You can remove that block and set that aside. Take your pillow, if you have one, placing it at the top of your mat. You can keep your blanket where it is to provide you with some extra cushion as we come down into Shavasana. For all my pregnant mamas out there, or maybe even any yogi who would like to try Shavasana in a different way, I'm going to come down onto my left side, resting my head. If you want to take the traditional Shavasana, you can just come onto your back, transitioning there, like so. For today, though, I'm going to be on my left side, and for the rest of this journey, calming down, bending the knees, closing down the eyes, maybe placing your hand over your heart or your belly. And just ending this practice with a few collective breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Calming your nervous system, thanking yourself for what your body just did. letting go of that focus and accepting the here and now. One more big inhale in here. And on your exhale, take a big sigh out of the mouth. Beautiful. I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana today. You can stay here as long as you'd like. I encourage you to, in fact. And I want to wish you a lovely rest of your day or evening. And I will see you back here for day 3. Namaste.